the Southern State of Golf podcast, where we talk about all things Southern golf. Today is an extra special episode of the Southern State of Golf podcast. We're now getting to the point where I'm starting to forget what episode we're on. I think we're on episode 7 right now. I guess that's a good thing. It used to be, well, I know it's number 1 or number 2. Now we're on episode number 7, so lucky number 7. And today we're excited to be joined by Landon from the Golf Crusade. Landon, how are you doing today?
I'm good, John. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Man, I will tell you, when I first started this podcast journey and getting into golf, y'all's Instagram account and now your website, it really drew me in early because it was, a lot of it is in the southern U.S.
Yeah.
So a lot of the courses that you play. Tell our listeners may not know just a little bit about you and your Golf Crusade and your partner that you work with.
Yep.
And the two of y'all, just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just a couple of old friends. The other guy I do this with, his name's Brett. We post kind of anonymously, so this is a rare on camera appearance for us, and we're ugly, so usually the view count goes down. So that's why we kind of hide behind the scenes and keep the focus on the courses that we play. But this is purely just a passion play for us. We each joked, and golf kind of kept us connected through the years. We grew up in New York. We both went to school in the South. I was in North Carolina. He was in Florida. Brett played some college golf at University of Tampa for 4 years. A very good school. I went to Wingate University myself, and was a washed-up baseball player by the middle of my sophomore year. But my first job was in the golf business, and we started competing over who had played more courses, and had a joke like, "Hey, first one to 1,000 wins." Wins nothing, but just wins. It's competition, right? So we just kept doing that for a few years and started compiling our course list, and like, oh, hey, have you played this or that? And surprisingly, growing up like near each other, we didn't have a lot of crossover, and finally just had one of those moments like, okay, I had built some websites in the past for some photography, and that was a hobby. I had, a compulsive list maker, all the courses that I've played, the stadiums that I've visited. I happen to work in sports kind of my whole career. So just like collecting the same things from each place, be it a scorecard, a magnet, and eventually like a photo became the thing that I wanted. Was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with all this stuff, but I had hundreds of courses, maybe 150 courses at the time. Now it's hundreds. Photography of photos just socked up. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this? And started posting photos to Google Maps before it was a little easier to do that. And did a photo a day for a year. And on the last day, literally day 365, it hit 1 million views of all those photos. And I'm like, I don't know if that's a big deal, but Google sends you a nice email. It says it is. It says, hey, congrats. And okay, this is what I want to do. Called Brett, said, hey, let's compare our lists and do this journey together. The journey to 1,000 is a duo. Is it cheating? Yes, 100%. But we each have our own careers. We live in our own areas. We wives, kids. It was not gonna. 1,000 is a lofty status, and I don't know if you've ever made a list of every place you've played, John. But it's probably not as long as you think it is. Like, I thought I'd played a couple hundred courses. I sat down and wrote them. I was at like 70. I'm like, oh gosh, this is going to take forever. So we combined our list, and we were at like 390 something. Probably in spring of 2018 when we started when we built the website, and we created an interactive map of every place we ever played. So you can go on there on our website, golfcrusade.com, and you can see every place we've ever played. And it was really just like when we would search to find courses, you wouldn't find very good websites or photos. If you're traveling to an area you're not familiar with, you wanted to play, you got one shot to play, you're going to play something good. And it was very frustrating. So we thought this would be a tool. Hopefully someone more than like our moms would look at it. And it's turned into that. It's been a great kind of earned media engine for courses. So sometimes we tell the courses we're coming, sometimes we don't. We try to stay positive with everything that we do. Running a golf course is really hard work. And we always try to give them the benefit of the doubt, as long as they're good people.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing. But it's just fun. It just became a way to stay connected. Something to do in the evenings. Everybody in my house goes to bed by 8:30. So I had something to do. It was a hobby for me to do in the evenings, and that's kind of where it is. We're now 6, 7 years in almost. We started at 394. We're now at 604, and we just actually came down your way to play 600 in the end of January. We played Camden Country Club was our 600th course. So really, really neat journey this has been. Did a little Mike Strantz homework on the side. We've built some other maps that have been very useful tools that people can go and find and use as resources. And like I said, it's just been fun. So if you're not familiar, we encourage you to go dig around the website. You'll find some stuff that you like.
Well, just share with everybody. Make sure they have your website and your social media handles that y'all use the most.
Yeah, golfcrusade.com is the mothership. You'll find all of our maps and resources and courses that we've played and stories that we write, kind of long form there, full res photography, all that stuff. If you like short form, your attention span's not real good. I get it. Instagram is where we kind of post the most, at Golf Crusade. And then very early on, we started a kind of a Mike Strantz themed account. It's called the Strantz Fans Club.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go to Golf Crusade and you can find the link from there. Then we also run a third one called Golf Barns. It's just exactly what it sounds like. It's just barns on golf courses. Don't do a lot with that. But if somebody wants to intern with us for free and run a social media account, we can do that. We'll give you golf barns and we'll see what you can do.
I think that's awesome. I love y'all's website. I love the Golf Crusader course tracker. Yeah. I mean, I've done that a couple of times where I've gone to different places and just say, all right, let me see what's in the area. What can I find that I really like? So I think I think it's awesome. Now tell me this, are y'all on your journey, if you go somewhere, are you trying hard to find somewhere different you haven't played, or what about that course that you just love? But there's this course close to the course you love you haven't played before. What are you choosing?
So we'll always look new first, but if there's a reason to revisit a favorite, we'll do it. Usually we got to have a reason to go. Maybe they've done an update to the course. Maybe it's new management and we want to go meet them. Because it's about, we want to talk to the folks that are doing this too. And that helps tell the story. Other places like, the Strantz courses are easy for us. Like we don't need a reason to go to any of those. Like we're just going. Tot Hill is kind of the spiritual and the ancestral home of the Golf Crusade. Actually, the first course either one of us really photographed in the early 2000s when it first opened. We each had a chance to play it. And they were a client of ours at the golf marketing company I worked for. And so spent a lot of time there. But no, we started to take, when you want to play 1,000 courses and you only get so many days a year, you can't get there playing the same course every time. So we play enough, like locally, we've played everything within probably an hour and a half of our homes. So we get a lot of replay there. But when we travel, if we're going to play 5 or 6 courses, we might throw one repeat in there if one of us hadn't played it. For example, we went to Aiken a couple of years ago, and Brett had played Aiken, and I hadn't, so we absolutely had to play that. It was well worth it, but we added 3 or 4 more new courses along the way. Greenville, South Carolina, he had played threes. I hadn't. He had played it during the day, so we went during the night, played it the way it should be played under the lights, which was super awesome. If anybody from threes is listening, please build one in Johnson City. I'll be your first member. They're awesome. So it's just one of those things that you can't get to 1,000 playing the same course all the time, but we will certainly revisit a favorite if the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, I mean, you said a lot there that I think to unpack. I was going to ask you about threes. What makes it so much fun for you? Now, I will say I have not been to threes, but that is on soon. Next time I go to Greenville, I want to try it.
Well, first, one of those things that we built on the website is a map of all the night golf courses you can play in the United States. A coworker asked me, like, hey, where's the closest courses that has lights? I said, Hendersonville, North Carolina. This is called Orchard Trace. He's like, how do you know that? Like, I played it. Like, it's awesome. it's awesome for us. You get to play golf under the lights. That's like Christmas morning. It's just such a treat. And some are better than others. Some have better wattage on their lights and stuff. And this is not glow golf. Glow golf is its own thing. But just it's a novelty for sure. But it's one that's growing. We've found over 100 courses in North America, better yet, that have lights that are working. There's more that have lights that are coming back on. There's a course up in Pendleton, right outside of Clemson, that's turning the lights back on after many years of them being off under new ownership. So Threes is expanding. They're building one in Charlotte now at a course that used to have lights. They're going to bulldoze it and redo it the right way. And they're expanding their business. You may have heard Justin Timberlake's a part of their ownership group now. And they're spreading. So it is really neat. Threes is just a cool vibe. You hear that a lot and go, oh, it's a vibe. The guys from the Twilight Golf Club that I belong to in Winston-Salem, Steven that runs that, he's always talking about the vibes. There's vibes to the max. And the food there was unbelievable. Putting course, it's just a wonderfully inviting environment for everybody. And it's very inclusive. Good cold beer on a hot night in the summer, playing under the lights. It doesn't get any better.
No, it looks really good, and that's something I'm looking forward to trying out. All right,
Hey,
I know you'll.
well, call. Let's find a date. I'll meet you there. It's about an hour and 45 minutes from my house.
I'll absolutely. I'll certainly do it. I'll do it. I'll make you feel better about your golf game as well.
I'll make you look good. I promise.
You might be surprised, but
No.
one of us will be right. How about we'll go with that? One
Fair
of us
enough.
will be right. Talk to me about Mike Strantz and his golf courses, because have you played all of his courses?
We have played. We have not played Stonehouse on the East Coast. We hadn't made it to Williamsburg, and found out. We recommended to somebody, "Oh, go check it. They're going to Williamsburg." I'm like, "Oh, go check out the Strantz courses there." And this was, on our first Golf Crusade trip in 2018, and we hadn't been there yet. And I went home and looked it up, and both courses were closed. Royal New Kent had closed, Stonehouse had closed, and it was like just a punch in the gut, and it didn't go away for days. It was like, these are works of art that we potentially never got a chance to experience. And then not long after that, word came that Royal New Kent had been purchased, and somebody was going to revitalize it back to the original Strantz vision. And Strantz courses probably take a lot more than some others to keep up because they're so extravagant and artistic, have a lot of artistic lines in them, bunkering, greens, kind of wild. If you've not played one of his courses, you owe it to yourself to try. You may not like it, but you may love it, and it may take you down a different rabbit hole in your golf life. So we ended up trying to do an event there. This is, again, early Golf Crusade, like 2019. And we heard Stonehouse was coming back too. We're like, all right, we're going regardless. Let's just put it out there. We might have had 1,000 followers at the time. It was not big. And we're like, let's just put it out to the following and see if anybody wants to come play with us. And we had about 50 people come. And we were shocked. Like, this is awesome. And we wanted to do both in the same day. We wanted to do Royal New Kent in the morning, drive 20 minutes down the road and play Stonehouse. It was ultimately a good thing that Stonehouse's renovation kind of didn't come online quick enough, and we had to pivot and do all 36 at Royal New Kent. It ended up being a wonderful, day experience. We made great friends at Royal New Kent with the staff there, and that we still keep up with to this day. And that's taken us in a lot of other ways too. But the only one we haven't played is Stonehouse on the East Coast, and then the two out in California. It's all on the to-do list. They're high to do. Stonehouse is, they're grateful to say that, they're up and running and have been for at least, 5 years. And it looks great. We see photos all the time. And, we don't get to travel a lot to just be ourselves with families and stuff. So, eventually we'll get there, but we played the other 6, and, it's hard to pick a favorite. You can't. They're all unique in their own way.
I played 2 of them. The first one that I played was, first one I played was Tobacco Road, and I fell in love with it. I got to play it back in December. The weather was actually awesome that day. It was great. I like different things. I know most people love it. A little bit of people don't like it or don't like it the first time they play it, and then maybe love it the second time. I loved it. I think it's one of the great things about golf. It's just, I love the environment, just how different it is. It wasn't necessarily good for my scoring of the day, but I love Tobacco Road. I'm assuming you really like it a lot as well.
Sure. The first time I played it, it was rough. It was hard on the ego. I played it with my brother. It was July. It was probably 106 degrees. It was tough. I put 4 in the drink in a row on 14. It was the only water hazard on the course. I hit 4 in a row in there. Second time I went there was 15 years later. I remembered every shot, every place I had to put it. It looked exactly the same, if not better. Had taken some trees out and stuff to open some corridors and light. Stuff you have to do on golf courses, but it was exactly the same like I remembered it. And I shot probably mid 80s, almost a 20 shot improvement. I don't think I broke 100 the first time. But Tot Hill was our first, and it was tough to watch kind of Tot Hill go into disrepair almost for many years, or a slow decline, if not disrepair there at the end. And thankfully, the new ownership group has sunk a couple $1 million in. It's better than it ever was in its early days, even. And then Caledonia, True Blue are two of the others that are probably the most well-known. Caledonia and True Blue are in Pawleys Island, across the street from each other. Caledonia was first, kind of an ode to Augusta, if you were going to compare them to something. Like, it's a little more tame than his others. True Blue is the exact opposite. It's much more like Tobacco Road, but flatter. Obviously, it's at the beach. Tot Hill is just a wild mountain ride on steroids, with boulders flung everywhere and sand, and it's just beautiful. Royal Newcant is tribute to like Royal County Down, over an Irish Links, and Stonehouse is just kind of, I can't tell you because I haven't played it firsthand, but they say a little bit more mountainous from just the land that it's on. So yeah, each are unique, and Tobacco Road is kind of a tribute to Pine Valley. They say Pine Valley through a funhouse mirror, which is just, it's a great descriptor, and Tobacco Road's awesome. If every golfer owes it to themselves to play it once. Yes, it's expensive, but just do it once. If there was one course I was going to spend the money to play even again, it's Tobacco Road.
No, I loved it. I was fortunate. I got to play it back in December when the rate was down low, and it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
And it was certainly well worth it. I would go play with the right group of people. I would certainly pay to play that one again. Now, for you, what makes for a good round of golf? Like, do you love playing with other people? Do you like playing sometimes by yourself, or does it just depend? What makes for good golf for you?
Golf's therapy, for some people, and I'm definitely one of those people. Like, I'm always in a better mood the couple of weeks after I've had a chance to play. Right now it's kind of, it's binge and purge. For me, we'll take a trip and we'll play 7 courses in 3 days, and then I won't play for 2 months. I had a great chance I took a day off this week. I was just like, I need to go play. It's good weather. I drove 5-hour round trip to play 2 9-hole courses that I hadn't played before out in Southwest Virginia, out in the sticks. And it was just awesome. I played by myself the first round and paired up with some old guys, in their 70s to play a par 3 version of their course. It was a private course that they've kind of taken care of themselves, and learn their stories. Like, it was awesome. So yeah, you just meet a lot of new people. I got a few guys that'll day trip with me, but and then we'll do a big event, and we had 170, 180 people at our last Iron Maverick that we did at Tot Hill over 2 days, 2 separate fields with 2 days. We could have done 3 or 4 days with the amount of people that were on the wait list for that one. So it's just a mix. There's really no perfect formula. I judge a good round by, did I hit a couple good shots? Did I make a birdie? Did I not make quads? And do you get a couple, like for me, I like to do photography and like, did I get a couple good photos? Something to remember the course by. Was it memorable? Sometimes memorable isn't good. Sometimes memorable can be a really bad hole, really bad design. The place I played Tuesday, it's called Willowbrook. It is in Breaks, Virginia, which is as remote as you can get in the state of Virginia. It's on the Kentucky line. They have electric fences around the greens in the wintertime as elk repellent, because elk come down, bull elk. I'm talking the ones, they come down and they'll destroy the greens. So they have electric fences around the greens for 4 or 5 months of the year while the elk come down every morning. And I missed it by about 45 minutes, the guy said, the elk being on the course. But what a neat story. Like, I'll never forget that course. It was a pretty forgettable 9-hole course, but the fact they had that, and in the summertime, I'm sure it's really pretty. In the fall, it would be amazing with the scenery. But yeah, it's like, that's a story that I'm going to tell for the rest of my life. That, yeah, I played a course that had electric fences around the green. It also repelled my shots. So, yeah, I had an excuse that day. So, yeah, just I like to take one thing away from every round that I play.
Now, when you go to courses, rounds done, you hit the pro shop, but there's certain things you're always looking to buy, or I might just, you mention a tee, you might mention, the golf cart or golf card. Do you get a polo or anything, golf logo ball or anything in particular? Or is it just whatever strikes you?
I am not much of a pro shop guy, I'll be honest. I like to just have the scorecard and a photo. Like, that's really what I take away, and a story. I've been fortunate to play a lot of courses. Been fortunate to go to a lot of sporting events. I don't go to sporting events and buy the souvenir. I will take a souvenir cup, at the concession stand. Mm-hmm. My wife hates me for those. She's like, oh yeah, the plastic cup cabinet. Yep,
that's me.
Masters
too.
cups.
Yep.
I have stuff from Madison Square Garden from 15 some years ago that's still like the day I brought it home. It's awesome. But yeah, I am a sucker for a white golf hat with a good logo on it. So I probably have 15 of those, and I really rarely wear hats anymore. But I am a sucker for a white hat with a good logo.
Okay, what's a couple of your favorite logos you like?
I got one here. That's the old logo at Tot Hill. Yeah, the Strantz logos are great because he drew them. The alternate logo at Colleton River was a really cool one. Hague Point has a good one they have their own lighthouse, similar to the famous one across the Calabogie Sound there at Harbor Town. Yeah, Bulls Bay is a great one. Yeah, there's certainly some good ones out there. I got a hat at Camden. Quixote Club has a great one with the windmill. Was pretty cool too.
All right, I've got to ask, have y'all ever come with creative excuses why to go play golf, where maybe you were supposed to do something, an offer came in to go play a really good course, and you're like, dang, I need to go do what I was supposed to do, but I'm going to go play golf instead? I don't want you to get in trouble. No, I don't want you to give up anything.
Yeah, I'm blessed that I work at a wonderful company. That they afford us, kind of time off, and it's great, and we work hard at certain times. It's seasonal, so there will be times that I have to say no. There's often times when, hey, things might be a little slower. That's not going to be this year. It's a busy year where I work, and there won't be many chances to sneak away. But no, it's like, hey, I'm taking tomorrow off. The weather's good. I'm going. So those invitations are few and far between anyway, and I'm not afraid to say no. If it happens again, then it's meant to be. I've had people invite us to go, and unfortunately I haven't been able to say yes because I have to say no. Family comes first, works somewhere second, church and all those other things, those are all the priorities, and golf should be further down the list. So I know where it belongs on the pecking order, and it's okay to say no.
Oh, absolutely. I think that is an awesome philosophy, and that's the one I certainly try to live by. But there's been times when I've gotten an offer, and I was like, oh boy,
it's hard.
It is hard.
Some tough no's. I once got called This one's great. A guy called me, a friend of mine locally. He called, and it was like a week before kind of our big event at work, and I couldn't go anyway. But it was so nice to get the call. He calls, leave me a voicemail. She's like, "Hey, Landon, I'm on my way to the airport. I'm heading to a golf trip in Ireland. There's 12 guys on the trip." I'm like, "Hey, you don't have to brag about it." I'm listening to the voicemail. I'm like, "Thanks a lot." He's like, "Well, one of the guys backed out. It's all paid for. All I got to do is get to Ireland." And I'm like, "Oh my God." And I call him. I said, "Thank you so much. I have to decline, but I just want to say thank you." And then he proceeds to tell me where they're playing, and it's like 8 of the top 10 in Ireland. And I'm like, "Oh my God." And so we went and played after he got back. I'm like, "Okay, hit me with it.
Right.
How was it?" And I'm just like, "Oh my God." Like, I had to say no. Like, I would have gotten on the plane that day. It inspired me to update my passport so that I could say yes the next time if that ever happened again. But yeah, there's nothing I could do, and I don't regret anything about that. But it's one of those things like, oh my gosh, this would be like the greatest thing ever. And even my wife was like, "Yeah, that sucked." But yeah, it's fun.
What outside of the big yellow pin that's on your map for Augusta National?
Yeah.
What are some of is there a couple others that you can think of that you're just dying to play?
Well, there's 2 pins on there actually.
Okay.
If you go look up in Alberta, Brett went up to Banff a couple summers ago and just took the family up there. Didn't go up there to play, but did go by Banff Springs and snapped a couple photos. So that's on there. Finishing out the Strantz 9 would be a big one. Monterey Peninsula. If I had one course to play on Monterey Peninsula, I know everybody would pick Cypress that's in the know. Everybody else would pick Pebble that isn't really in the know, and I would take either of those. But my first one would be the short course at Monterey Peninsula to play Mike's course. If I just had one. It would mean that much. There's one down in Lajitas, Texas, as well, called was it Blackjack Crossing or something like that?
That's the one that's right on the border.
Yes.
With Mick. I've seen that.
Yep. So that's like the #1 public course in Texas. Mike's right hand, Forrest Fessler, really did that course. I think Lanny Watkins has a design credit, but Forrest built it. And if you look at the photos again, you'll see Mike's work there, his artistry. So that one is kind of like the 10th Strands course to me. And I would love to play that one. And then I'd love to go overseas and play some stuff. I got a few years till I hit 50, but I'm already planning a big trip for 50. I'd like to go to Iceland, where you could play for 24 hours in the summertime, or somewhere like that. It's not really courses, it's just really experiences. Like, I want to experience different things that the game offers in unique places. I'm not big on spending, 200 plus per round. That's not really what we do. But I would love to, I would do it maybe once for the right opportunity. I'd love to go wait in line. I know they really don't do it anymore, but wait in line at the old course for a tee time. Beth Page, kind of same thing. Had a couple guys ready to do that, and they chickened out at me at 3 a.m. when we were going to go up there when I lived up there. So there's so many neat experiences in golf, and you can't wish about like, hey, I'd love to play Augusta. I'm like, yeah, that's 1 in a billion, chance, and it has to fall in your lap, and you have to say yes. But there's so many neat things out there besides that, and that's what we want to find. And we've talked to so many folks that have, like you, that have found stuff. Like, I've played so many courses that you guys have found that I never would have looked at, and that means more to us. And that's really who we're for. The big courses, they don't need us. They got Golf Digest that's going to write about everything that they want to do. And look, we read it too. It's great. I'd love to play those. But we want to give some attention to the courses that can't afford that, or don't have the budget. Sequoia National out in the mountains of North Carolina is just ungodly beautiful. You feel like you're playing in Last of the Mohicans in the movie set. It's absolutely incredible. And anybody can go play that. And so here, go, and yeah, it's a little bit bigger name. There's so many other little ones. In Old Toccoa Farm, the place that we fell in love with in North Georgia. Just wild. Just so many neat things out there.
There is a lot out there, and it's funny you talked about Camden Country Club earlier. I mean, that
That's
is literally
perfect example.
20. It's like 20 minutes from where I live, and I've heard a lot of people say it's such a really cool Donald Ross design, and I haven't had a chance to go out there yet, but that's certainly on my little board to get going. We're going to start to wind down a little bit. One of the things I like to ask guests that we have on, it's a little bit different. It's called our fantasy foursome. Who is a group of 3 to 4 other people that are fictional people, not even real people, that you would enjoy playing around the golf with? Maybe fictional people from movies, television shows, whatever. A couple things. I use people like, I think, Kramer, Ferris Bueller. I think I even I've had all sorts of different people. You got a couple of guys in mind that you would love to have in your fantasy foursome?
First one that comes to mind is Roy McAvoy, Tin Cup.
There you go.
He'd be fun for after the round too. It appears that would be a great one. I honestly, real person, I put Mike Strantz in there. Just that conversation, and I would pair him in the same cart with Alistair McKenzie, and just be a fly on the wall for that conversation. Probably wouldn't play with Happy Gilmore. That just seems like a distraction you don't want in your foursome. All due respect to him. Shooter's probably more people's vibes, actually. So, no, Roy McAvoy, definitely. Yeah, that's a great question. I wish I had that one in advance. I could have given it a little more thought. But for sake of time, my kids are into golf now, and I know that's a lame answer. My parents both taught us how to play. My dad passed a few years ago. I'd love for my dad to have a chance to play with my kids. But yeah, and my nickname growing up was Lanny. My parents gave me that after Lanny Watkins. Be neat to spin around with him, just shooting the breeze as well. So yeah, and who wouldn't pick Tiger to play with? Although that would just be, you'd be a nervous wreck the entire time. But I love the TGL stuff that they do. Maybe you do TGL with Tiger, because they all seem a little more human hitting into the screen. Have that opportunity for error.
You're right. I think it would be fun to play with those type of guys, and where they would communicate and talk and not be so locked in. Mm-hmm. Yep. Our last thing that I like to do every episode, I come up with a top 10, just a random top 10 that I talk about, and I don't take myself too seriously with this, but I did my top 10 courses that I saw that y'all have played, and that I want to play, that are just that sparked my interest. And I know maybe some of them you haven't played, but and this is one of those where I'm sure if I go down, I've even looked at the list, and I think I've even changed my list since I've just wrote it down. But number 10 off the top is Rock Barn.
Yeah.
Out in North Carolina. I know y'all have done, you've got a Instagram account with Barn. Did you get an opportunity to play Rock Barn? Or
I have played Rock Barn. Fancy enough, there's no barn on the Jones course. So hard to, the logo is about as barny as it gets there. But beautiful course, very challenging, and they got a beautiful waterfall off one of the par threes in the back. It's pretty neat.
That's awesome. Number 9, and I'll try to go through some of these a little bit faster, is the Country Club of Charleston. It just looks like a cool one to me. Mm-hmm. Number 8, Southern Pines in North Carolina. That just seemed, I was going to play. It was actually the course I was going to play in December, and then that's when Tobacco Road opened up, and I was like, nope, I'm going to Tobacco Road instead.
We played there before they redid it, and playing it was like $45 at the time, and we're like, man, if anybody ever got their hands on this would be a gem. And about a year later, somebody bought it. The Mid Pines guys, Pine Needles, bought it, and then basically now it's the third leg, and some people prefer that one over the other two, and the other two have hosted majors on the women's side. So great choice there.
Colleton River, the Dye course, that one looks really, really cool. At number 7, number 6, this is one I want to put higher on the list. Todd Hill Farms.
That should be number 1. Yeah. Move it up.
It just seems like, that was one of those too. When I was going that one day, I was like Tide Hill Farms, Tobacco Road, and so I went with Tobacco Road. But Tide Hill Farms is only about it's 245, 2.5 from where I live. That's certainly gonna. This next one's number 5, even though I will take Tide Hill Farms above it. But it just seems really cool. On your website had good things. The Chalk Mine in Aiken, little 9-hole.
Yeah. I could, how much time we got? I mean, that is the coolest, that is the coolest place. Like, if we have one place just to play every day, I'd want that. Because it's short. I love short courses. It's as great as the Cradle. It's more difficult than the Cradle, and everybody knows that, loves it from Pinehurst. But the Chalk Mine is just absolutely awesome. I want one in my backyard.
I didn't put this on the list, and I'm curious now that you've talked about the short courses. Have you played the kids' course at Old Barnwell?
It was not. They were building it when we were there 2 years ago. It's open now. Hopefully we can eventually make it back. We got a couple other unfinished business things in Aiken as well. So yeah, I hope to make it back there. But what a great concept! Like, that's right up our alley. Kids golf, short course. Yeah, that's a game changer.
Well, it was great. I'm an athletics director in Columbia, South Carolina, and we took our golf team down there and we did a lesson at Old Barnwell. And then at the end of the lesson, they let our guys go out on the kids course. And it's not a par 3 because there's 15 holes. Mm-hmm. There's at least 2 par 4s in there. It was just it was a great teaching experience for our guys that played, and it was a great teaching experience and learning experience for me. And of course, I just had a blast where it was serious golf, but they had a couple of holes that one of them had a funnel where if you hit it down, it had a little, I don't want to call it miniature golf, but it had a couple of those things where you could do that if you wanted. But it was a really neat thing, and the Chalk Mine is just something I keep hearing more and more about.
So special.
Number 4 on my list, and I've heard about this a couple times, but when I've looked at your Instagram account, and I really like the cliffs at Glassy in Landrum, South Carolina. That one's a little different. And number 3 that I've seen a lot, and I'm hearing more and more because it's closer to me, the Coyote Club in Sumter, South Carolina.
Just gem. Like, it's one of those that's almost like the perfect golf course. There's a couple holes that will eat your lunch, but it's, if you're a walker, it's a beautiful walk. It's got no rail cart pass. You drive through the sand, which is something why don't more courses do this? It's Sandy Cart Pass. They have done an unbelievable. There's no attention to detail that was left unattended. From the parking lot through the entryway, the locker room smells amazing. Like, I want to bottle that and take it with me. Like, it's so good. The food was excellent. The choices for the chandeliers, the piano. I mean, there's no detail left unchecked. New training center's opening. If you have a chance, and they'll have your team out there. Another wonderful practice venue to check out. Everything there is near perfect.
And I just keep hearing that over and over.
Yep.
Now, my last 2, I kind of flipped back and forth. And I'm sure that if I would have really studied the list carefully, I was like, yep, I missed those. There's a couple I missed there. Yep. Number 2, Yeaman's Hall down in Charleston. Have you had an opportunity to play that one?
That's Brett. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say Brett would put Charleston, Country Club of Charleston over Yeaman's.
Okay.
See, so he likes it better, and that's the beauty of golf. Is some people like their coffee hot. Some people like it black. Some people like it iced. It's a little different for everybody. So for him, you'd have to talk to him. I'll give you his number. But I think he would say Country Club of Charleston is the better of the 2.
Okay, because I think that's one that's maybe the perception I have, the mystique, or it's hard to get on, or it's ranking type thing. Well, number 1 for me, and I think this might be right up at y'all's alley, is Bulls Bay.
Yeah,
I've been there. I helped out at a golf tournament there one time. Mike Strantz-designed, just overlooking everything. It just looks like such a cool place to play.
We've been blessed to have great friends there over the years, and it really started. They host the big college event, and Brett started going. Hey, it's open to just go watch. He played college golf, so he was interested, and just brought his camera along. Came for the sunrise, and we've just built kind of, some great friendships there over the years, and have been very appreciative of any time that they've asked for something, we've been able to help. And they don't need our help. They're sold out for years and no wait list anymore because it's just so lengthy. They deserve everything they've gotten. And yes, they have a great golf course too. But they're great people and very welcoming for those that do get the chance to play. And blessed, we had the chance to help them celebrate the 20th anniversary when we did Iron Maverick 2 there. And we did it at Bulls, Caledonia, and True Blue over 2 days. Had a 72-hole event, and they let us play a par 3 routing in the afternoon at Bulls as well. So it was I get goosebumps thinking about being able to do that and open their doors. And they want us to do maybe a member guest type thing. And I said, well, what if you let us bring people that would never get a chance to play for the anniversary, and we'll host. And they said, yeah, we love it. Like, let's do it. So we were very blessed they allowed us to do that. Very cool. Very appreciative.
Yeah, that's just one of those courses that I keep hearing about it, and I was like, gosh, that's one I want to get out and play and see. It looks so awesome. But Landon, I appreciate so much your time
pleasure.
today. I mean, man, I could sit here. I know we could talk golf and sports, and I love how, that podcast for me wasn't to ever talk about the intricacies of a good golf swing or, I do want to get to be a better golfer, but to me, I love hearing you talk about the experiences, the people, the course itself. I mean, that's what I love. I love just the different experiences that you get on a golf course. And my last episode, or one of our top 10s, was top 10 my favorite golf Instagram accounts, and y'all were right there in the middle of that. Because it was. I love the stuff that y'all do, and it's not all just the top 10 courses. And I love how y'all real positive too. I think that's awesome.
We like to say there's a lot more zeros and ones on the road to 1,000 than tens, and that's true. I probably played one this week, but that's okay. But it was a great experience, regardless of what the course was like, and just like you said, the people, and experience the game. Don't play to play to experience the game.
I love it. Yeah. Landon, thank you so much. I hope people will go check your website out, golfcrusade.com. It's a fantastic resource. It's entertaining. I love your year-end recaps of the new courses, best replay, best public, best private. I would encourage people to go check that out at golfcrusade.com. Landon, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure, John. Thank you so much.